The Son of Man put a mark on the faces of those who sigh and cry for the abominations that are done in this day. We need to be purified. But before we get to those purifications, I am within the quote land, which I spoke the other day, saying, know your enemy. Now, I want to bring these trends in the religions of the. Number one, before I get to that, I want to bring out a particular concept. This is Genesis 11, my friend. Genesis 11, verse 4. And when we speak in Genesis 11, all we understand is the Tower of Babel, don't we? We know of Tower of Babel. And we also spoke yesterday of Babylon Euphrates drying up. So there is the element of Babylon still with us. To hear the verse read. Verse 4.
Go to, let us a city and a tower whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth.
This is interesting. This as a society, they are saying, let us build a city and a tower whose top reaches heavens. Let us build a city and a tower so that we are not scattered abroad on the face of the earth. I want us to grasp something that I want us to learn. Here is the Tower of Babel. And the tower is a tower. It is a ziggurat. It's a building that spirals into the sky. How high it was, that is a theological debate. You know, when you are little, even from here to the road is far. But as you grow, it grows near. Maybe the tallness of the Tower of Babel, that is theological, and I don't need theology here. Theology is for classroom. I want just something to be understood. That these people needed to build a tower. And there is a replica of the Tower of Babel in our day, the Babylon that is going to be dried up. Babel is just confusion, as you all know. Now, think about the towers. What do they help us with? Towers are for memory. I understand the tallest tower in the world is called Burj. I don't know how to pronounce it. Burj Khalifa in Dubai, is it? I have never been to Dubai. But they say, those that have gone there, that there is a tower. It is 828 meters high. Why do they build towers? Why is there a tower in Saudi government, in Saudi Arabia? And why did we have to build such a powerful cathedral called Chartres? Chartres. That is about 80 kilometers southwest of Paris. We also had the Eiffel Tower. That is also in Paris. We also have the pyramids of Giza. You know where they are. We have CN Tower in Toronto. We have the WTC in the US. The question is, why are these towers? The Babylonian tower in the book you have read had two reasons, two purposes for which they built it. Number one, it was for fame. It was built for distinction and glory. It was a dream of the highest attainment of a people, of a common solidarity. Number two, the Tower of Babel was for the desire for social and cultural cohesion. So when we have towers, two things are in memory, it should be considered. Number one, they are a symbol of how we have come up as a people in a same solidarity. It is a prestige of a people. What is the prestige? What tower do we have in Kenya for our pride? It is there on the money, on your notes. It is there on the picture. When you get to any other country in the world, if you see it, you see Kenya. Don't you? It is our pride. Rwanda has one interesting building in Kigali that whenever you see, you only think of Rwanda. It has a rotating light in a very, very, very marvelous way. So towers are there. And so the Babylonians, so the people in those days built tower. And in the building of tower that I am speaking about for this evening, the ground floor are the Eastern religions. The ground floor. We have not started floor number one. The Eastern religions form the ground floor. Let me begin with Buddhism. There is something with the Buddha, the Buddhists, that I know they cannot be offended over if I speak over the mic. That they advocate for what we call mental concentration and mindfulness. Remember, Armageddon is a battle of minds. And these things are adding up. They are beefing up towards one common solidarity. It is a symbol of a solidarity. Okay, the trends, I'm going to cut the trends in a few minutes. Then we combine the trends and understand that there is a universal alliance that is going to be in the forefront of Armageddon. That means those that need to stand with God should choose to stand with God. There's no lie about this. Okay, we go by faith usually. That is our speech, our vocabulary as a people. But we need to know that our physical life, our mental powers, our anything that the Lord gave to us, bestowed on us as spiritual gift and even talents, to be combined to help us form a solidarity that might be used by God in facing the unholy Trinity. You know, God uses humanity. And in this case, in the battle of Armageddon, you think he's going to come with angels to help him fight? We are here. We are here. The angels will come and help us, yes, but we are here. That's why even in the resurrection of Lazarus, he asked the people, roll the rock, roll out the stone. Meaning, have some part to do in this exercise of resurrection. Have some part to do. Don't just stare at me. Have some part to do. So we have to have part to do in the battle of Armageddon. But I stick to my point of reference that know your enemy in order to fight. Honestly, know your enemy. Friend, you cannot fight somebody you've not understood. You can only fold your shirt and be ready to fight somebody you have known and you have evaluated and known that you can fight it. But somebody you don't know, you can. So the ground floor are religion. I begin with it. And these Buddhists, they have this concentration of the mind through some elements. Number one, the mantras. Mantras are sacred sounds. And they are danceable in a quick rhythm. So those are the things that I wanted to show up on the picture. So that somebody sees how similar this behavior could be in your church. That you may change. And choose to know how to do it now. Or rather, you're going to be similar to them. And then the trend will be one. They have what this writer says, inspired scientific similar to Western metaphysics. They have what we call the doctrine of impermanence. We are coming. Let me check on Hinduism. Hinduism believes in the wheel of samsara. And in Hinduism, these beliefs are paramount, are very obvious. One, the afterlife and reincarnation. And the karma and the dharma. Dharma is a righteousness and such a thing. But then they speak of a life that is going on a wheel, and the wheel they call samsara. That means to a Hindu, one of their great men says the only answer to religious conflicts in the world is Hinduism. Why? Because in their temple you can come with anything and be worshipped. That I don't have problem with. The problem that I have that I want to share with you people is that they have one thing similar with the other one that asks their faithful to know that once somebody died, they reincarnate into something. Now there is a higher life and lower life. If you lived righteous life, the dharma, you may resurrect to become a spirit. And that spirit can visit and give pieces of advice. And you can meet them anywhere. And this is another sign that Armageddon is not going to be fought physically per se. And number two, Hinduism believe in yoga. Now let me bring yoga and compare with the mindfulness in Buddhism. Now yoga is to sit solitarily and give a mental concentration until you are not you, until you can be, you're able to, you move into another sphere of life. And they call it yoga. You understand what yoga is? That this is something that is called mindfulness. It is moving you. It is transcendent. And they also believe in this thing we call TM, transcendental meditation. Transcendental meditation. It is also similar to what I also see in one of our Luo sects. I once went to Mugabo. Mugabo is down Muhuru Bay. There is one rock in the extreme end. And in that rock there is a cave. You go there, you find somebody has been lying there as if dead for over 2 weeks. And the mind is lost so much that when you reach there, you might think the person is dead. No, they are on the TM, transcendental meditation. Something that if it is already coming into this church here, this church, then you know we are facing a very bitter war. Such are the times you find somebody is lost in quietness. You might think he's worshiping God, but the spirit is translated to something else. That is very sad. It's much that I could speak then. The same is found with the religion of the shamans. Shamanism equally brings spirit, particularly, this person says, it is a practice that involves practitioner reaching the altered states of consciousness. And the reason why I'm bringing these things, ladies and gentlemen, is that I want us to beware as a church that these things are already with us. I speak of experience. These things are already with us as a people. There are forms that once we see in our church, we need to raise an alarm and seek the landmarks of our faith as a people. Now listen to this, that these people perceive and interact with the spirit world and channel these transcendental energies into this world. You connect up to a spirit. You connect up to a spirit. Let me ask you a simple thing. If, for example, this little baby here is crying, in Luo when they cry, a little baby that has been born, this is even more older, and the kid cries, what do the grandmommy advise? That you visit, or if you take to the grandmommy, the grandmommy will equally call names, right? He will call names of those that had died. Nyanyandega, Nyanyandega, Utiu, Obo. So that if the child is going to be quiet at the mention of the name of somebody who had died, then the child, there's this communication between that world and this world. There is a communication. And that is one element that I find in religions and I find in culture. And these things are making the biblical doctrine null and void because they are fighting it. Now I'm getting to you. That is first floor. Let me get to second floor. I've only mentioned a few. Second floor in the Tower of Modern Babylon. Second floor. First floor was what? Eastern religions. Remember Micah chapter 5 verse 4. That everyone will walk in their own God, right? Now we have what we call Renaissance. Renaissance. It's an age of civilization. That is second floor. No, first floor. That was ground floor. By the way, Eastern religions are the ground floor. They form the basis. Now what is the next? Renaissance. I want to bring something here. Earliest in the Middle Ages, the medieval religions are the likes of the people they call the Beguards and the Beguines. Now, these people had a spiritual movement throughout 13th century and 14th, and that movement emphasized free spirits, young vagabonds, who collected their theology from Gnosticism, mysticism, and other sources. Now they preached free love, mystical union with God, and rejected conventional morality. Where being moral is seen as evil, and being immoral is seen as being free. Are you okay? Are you people okay? You know the challenge I have? You have locked your noses. So I don't see them twisting up in response to what I'm speaking about. You getting me, Maureen? That there are medieval religious movements that are working hard to fight the Bible. And I'm coming. There was one that was even more dangerous. This I must read. The Hermeticism, or Hermeticism, how you call it. A secret magical tradition based on a set of 14 books known as Corpus Hermeticum. They are attributed to a figure known as somebody there. They emphasize mental, spiritual experience over the physical. Now, they say time and space are irrelevant, and history is illusory. Now, they say that only the interior life of the mind matters. God is called the mind. There's no personal God existing. They say God is in the mind. And they had an ascetic disregard to the body. They saw the body as an impediment to spiritual progress. And they sought for liberation of the body. This you can do even by suicide. To liberate this body, you can kill it in order to get out. Even today, I know 1,001 people who think by going through suicide, they are getting into another life. Now listen to this. This is very sad. That God is a circle. whose center is everywhere, whose circumference is nowhere. Center is everywhere, circumference is nowhere. Are you getting the things? And these are the things that I'm getting with to our universities. Watch with me. Come over with me. Now listen to this. So self is given over to the demon, throws himself upward towards the spheres. Oh, and there is a power that enters. There's a power that enters him, and he becomes God. So in this religion, humans are long spiritual evolutionary process. And we are reaching, now listen to where he summarizes. They can, through occult, continue to become demons, then gods, then finally they become planets, then they become stars. Is this not within the philosophies of such men like Plato, Aristotle? And how did the Greeks come to name the stars and the planets after some names? And so there is a belief in this religion that there was going to be some star. You can be a star. That one day you turn into a planet. So we worship you. And then they advocate. Then another one is here. The Kabbalah. A friend of mine meets me in Nairobi. Tells me, Pastor, how are you? Fine, thank you. I was in the US the other day, and I joined the Kabbalah. And I asked him, and so what are you doing here in Adventist Church? No, this is for recognition. This is where we have registration. But I follow Kabbalah. Then interest got to me. A young man, and with a lot of money. This is a collection of Jewish mystic writings, that is Kabbalah, based on numerical system. These are the people who come with the codes, the Da Vinci code, the what code. They come with the codes, and they are codes that they know that helps them read a source of livelihood or a problem somewhere. They can pattern up the astrologies, what we call constellations, and come up with reasons that they have. Right. Kabbalah teaches that human beings control even God. They can create God. That is Kabbalah. And he is an Adventist. And he believes in Kabbalah that he can create God. He can be God himself. I have a reason for coming to this. My theme is interspiritual age crisis. The war is Armageddon. And I told you the war is going to be fought intellectually. And therefore, I'm bringing all this with a reason. I'm not digressing so much. I know those who will tell me, Pastor, we have 31,000 verses in the Bible. You should stick to the Bible. You don't know what I'm doing. You don't even know there were 31,300 verses. It's me who is informing you. So relax. I have a reason for this. Now, forget Kabbalah. I'm now coming to my Bible. But before I get to that, I must bring what they call the out-of-body experiences. Astral travel. There are things people watch even in the Nigerian films. That somebody is married to a lady, they get into the room, and the lady leaves. The lady leaves mechanically or dramatically, and gets by spirit into the sea. So when I noticed this, I come from where I told you I'm pastoring right now. A primary 7 girl. Beautiful indeed. And she kept coming even to my house. When the lady with whom she stayed discovered that this girl is spoken of as a spiritist, she left. But when she left, she came back. But where she went, somebody speaking the fact that the girl is testifying that in the night she had to leave and get to the bottom of Lake Victoria and come back and haunt people in their places of sleeping. And in classroom, she becomes sober. And these things are not far. If they were far, then why do we have some churches with some chambers to pray for the demon possessed? And which stories do you get there? That's why I'm telling you the battle we are going to fight. You people, some of you people are aware they have even come into the very, very doors that you live. It makes me wonder, the other year, we have a company in Lambwe. And a little girl claims that an old lady met her on the way as they were coming from water and slapped her. And she began done. And we had to even ban a lot of things that she had as possessions. If I am speaking about fables, then why are we crying? And we, the parents here, who sometimes your daughter comes back from school and gets to the bedroom and you hear people speaking with her. And when you open the door, you realize she's even sleeping. So that you doubt. I told you, Armageddon, you are going to doubt your senses. And you hear shabla, 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 shabla. Towards a corner. These things were strange to this movement. And I don't call you a church. This was a movement with a purpose. To tell the world some facts. You are not to be a religionist coming, sitting down, paying tithes and offering and going back to rest. And believing that you've done God a service. Okay, I'm not... Okay. Sorry. Second floor. That is the third floor. The one ground, first, and then second. Second floor is the scientific revolution of the 16th and 17th century. And that was the beginning of what we call modernity. Listen to me. This is the beginning of modernity. Foundation of religion now began being shaken. You know, initially, religion was part of the government. Are you aware? Are you aware even when we had the Roman government, in the days of Jesus, they were a religious team. They were concerned with the supernatural. And they believed in God, whether in monotheistic form or polytheistic form or a henotheistic form, but they were a religious government. When did government now begin being independent of the church? After Renaissance. We get to the scientific one. That is when we began having distinctions. Today something happens in Kenya, and the church comes to speak later, or they are consulted, church, what do you see? Or church is even when we had conditions, when the bars left for free, and the market people go, and the churches where people could sit, the way you are very disciplined. You are the one seen as even spreading the disease more than those who are in the market. Are you seeing the paradox? And that is where the church comes in leadership of the government. And the church speaks and says, how come we are interpreted as the only incorrigible people that have no unruly, they have no direction? How come we were interpreted in the whole country as the people that would spread COVID more than any? Then I consoled myself that perhaps the government is speaking with Nairobi on mind, especially Kariobangi, Oroma Kona. Then I said, oh, maybe the yardstick for measuring religion is Mudorwa, Kariobangi, Oroma Kona, Madari. Because honestly, the way you people have sat, you are not even talking. It is the preacher speaking here. You are also a distance away. How does you? So if you didn't get what I've said in that was Hebrew. Now, scientific method is attributed to one man. You know him, the Francis Bacon. He had this to us, to wonder aloud. If only we could understand the world, if only we would learn the secrets of nature, then we could unlock so much benefits for humanity. Now, that was a time. Science now came to light, and religion was now being given side. We are headed to Armageddon. Now, third floor. We are coming to the third floor. Is the enlightenment of the 18th century. Technology. In the second floor, we were able to make the following. We were able to make knife. We were able to make hoes and jambes. We were able to make some pulleys. But now we have come to another age where those things are made to advance. A time we began to reap fruits of scientific rationality and emerge from what they call darkness of superstition. That means on the third floor of this Babylonian tower is technology. And the technology has come with the age of industrial revolution. The age of complex machines, steam engine, internal combustion engine, jet engines, and even fusions and computers. A lot of that stuff. Technology is ever increasing in complexity and in efficiency. Now, they come and speak one voluminous statement. Now we can control the forces of nature and have the mastery of our superstition. We don't need the miraculous. We don't need God. Because we are able to control nature. If science can tell you rain is going to fall tomorrow, do you need God to pray? Brother, your machine has told you rain is going to fall tomorrow at 3. Do you need God? Or religion is this stubborn, right? We will stand with our God. Now we can split an atom and store a massive and complex information in it. In a microchip today. Now, do we need grandmothers to tell us stories? Or you keep in a microchip, you use it? Do you need God? Fourth floor of this marvelous, this stupendous building is economy. Fourth floor is economy. And here is this right here. No need to sit in the benches to hear fables about heaven where we'll have peace. We had discovered on the second floor science. And we have come to the third floor technology. So we have science and technology combined. We have now come to the level that we have what we call economy. Economic controls. What we can have a national per capita and all that balancing. The central treasury, the Federal Reserve banks. We have even known how to modernize agriculture and make GMO to survive the current weather. And we can also come up with a human being without marriage. Not even a husband marrying a wife. No, children can still come. So why, they ask, why do we need God? And the whole world is following this Tower of Babel. I'm coming with you. You come with me. On the fourth floor, we are looking for utopia. Utopia. So we can end all wars and live the way we want. They are forgetting that the Babylon of the Bible had even had wonders of the world. One of the wonders of the world, the hanging gardens. In order to keep economic life thriving, yet it collapsed. So this time people believe they have had enough, that God is not important. That if people can come here and park these cars to worship God, I thank God. Because there are people even from the village where I come from that if they can only get one of these small, even that 80 there. Huh? There are people in my village that if they can get even that, then let church be. They should be taking breakfast in Sirari. lunch in Webuye, the supper in Londiani. That, and you can come and park. I thank God for you. Now the 5th floor, I'm now summarizing my Babylonic edifice, so that I come to me tomorrow over some issues. The 5th floor is now that man seeks autonomy. We call it autonomy. Yani, we have to be independent of reliability on a supreme being that we have not seen. That is the voice of the world, the voice of politics, the voice of religious movements of the world. It is the voice of socialism. It is the voice of Ujamaa. That now we do not need to rely on a supreme being in the space, because we are able to fend for ourselves. Now that is human autonomy, 5th floor. And then now 5th floor brings me to what we call postmodernism. Now when we come to postmodernic age, the Aquarian age, it has advocates from corner to corner of the planet. Advocates within even the Adventist church. Advocates within the religion at large. Advocates within the political world. Advocates within the social world and every other thing that are advocating for postmodernism. I want us to read a few verses before prayers. Revelation 17. We read of a woman that is sitting on a 7-headed beast. The woman in the Bible is indicative of the church, of a religious movement. We have a chaste woman, a chaste woman, a chaste woman, or a beautiful woman of Revelation 12. And we have an adulterous woman, a harlot, in Revelation 17. Time is there for those definitions, because that is what we have dwelt on as a church. How many times have we talked about Revelation 17? Now my business is simple. Read it, please.
Revelation 17, verse...
You'll read verse 1 to 5, then jump to verse 9, then 13, and then I read a quote from the manuscripts. Then we pray.
Says, "And there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither. I will shew unto thee the judgment of the great war that sitteth upon many waters.
Yes.
With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication.
Yes.
And the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of our fornication.
Yes, please.
So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication.
And upon her head?
And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth.
The tower is high above. It is taller than the tower we have read of in Dubai. It is taller than any of the buildings that we know, the skyscrapers. It is the modern spiritual Babylonian tower. And I have showed you the floors and remain within the 5th floor. But it is a building that is growing, because on the 5th floor is postmodernism. Now I'm coming to show you a mystery as the days come back. But I want you to jump to verse 9.
Verse 9 says, And here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains.
Now, before they have the 7 mountains, here is the mind that needs what? That has what?
Wisdom.
Has what? Wisdom is a scarce commodity, but it is a necessity for this time. Let us be wise, ladies and gentlemen. Let us just seek wisdom. Let God empower us with the ability to think sharply and criticize the situation. It is with us that we read Ecclesiastes chapter 8, verse 9, that said, who knoweth the interpretation of a thing? A man's wisdom maketh his face to shine. Wisdom is the thing that we need. It will help us understand and balance ourselves. Verse 14, did you read verse 13 and 14?
13 says, these have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. This shall make war with the lamb, and the lamb shall overcome them.
Now the Babylonian building is now the whole matter. And now it is not physical as it was in the plains, in those plains of the antediluvian world, perhaps. It is not physical as it was in Babylonian Empire. It is not as physical as World Trade Center. It is a spiritual tower. And being a spiritual tower, the Bible is calling wisdom on our side. So that the Armageddon, and I told you Har means a hill, not a valley. And Megiddo was a valley where the battles of the Old Testament times were fought. And therefore, in the harness, you now got me? There is a tower of mental prowess, sharpness, and ability to critique and criticize if necessary. It is ability to interpret, ability to understand, and ability to swallow that which is rightful for swallowing. And that is where the Lord is calling on us. Because this team, these flows are combining into one mental power, one mind. On verse 9 that my brother read, verse 14, verse 13 rather. One mind, they have one solidarity. And politics is there. And socialism is there. And economy is there. And even our ethnicity is in it. Because even the culture from where we come, those things are a million times. We are the people championing by our statements the Armageddon. So it is not a time when somebody will put 666 on your face so that as you walk, you read 666. That's not it. As we come to the end, manuscripts 1890. It must be page 1 or the first introductory pages. The present is solemn, writes this is one. Fearful time for the church. The angels are already guarded and awaiting the mandate of God to pour the vials of wrath upon the world. The Spirit of God is gradually withdrawing from the world. Satan is mustering his forces, going forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world. You know, of the earth is physical. What makes the difference between earth and the world? You know it, don't you? And that is why you live in a city. You cannot be in a city and you don't know the difference between earth and world. That one go back, come to where? And then the Bible goes, the spirit of prophecy goes ahead, the inspiration rather. Satan is to make most powerful efforts for the mastery of the great conflict. Fundamental principles will be brought out, decisions made in regard to them. Skepticism is prevailing everywhere. Ungodliness abound. The faith of individual members of the church will be tested as though there were no person in the one. You are tested alone. Where you stand, where you are, without even your wife and the kids. Let's rise. I didn't get any, or you have it. My Jesus, as we stand. My Jesus, I love thee. I know the watchman for thee all the follies of sin I resign. My precious Redeemer, Savior, thou. If ever I love thee, my Jesus is now. I love thee because thou hast first loved me. Oh, and purchased my pardon on Calvary's tree. I love thee forever, on thy birth. Oh, if ever I love thee, my Jesus is now. Allah, thee in life, I will love thee till death. Oh, and praise thee as long as thou lendest me breath, and say, when the death you has on my brow, if ever I love thee, my Jesus is now. In mansions of glory and endless delight. Oh, and ever adore thee in heaven so bright. I'll sing with a glitter crown on my brow. If ever I love thee, my Jesus is now. This evening we are going to pray for our women, the mothers, the girls. Mothers, we have had challenges of being deceived. Mothers, we have been left in the home and we've been put as if we are the factotum of the domestic duties. Mothers, we have not really learned if our husbands, where they have gone, they are faithful to us. And mothers, we've labored. In 9 months, we spat, carrying a load in our wombs. Mothers, we have nursed the kids until they were able to walk and go to school. And even then, you are still caring. Mothers, even the government is aware the children are in your hands until they are past 18. Mothers, what a load. It is a time that you give your life completely to Jesus. The miracles that the Lord has done unto thee ought to keep you closer to him. Mothers, we have come far. It will be painful if a mother is a prostitute. It will be painful if a mother sells herself in the streets for money when you ought to have settled with your husband. Mothers, you are the ones that remain widows ahead of time. And research has it that men die ahead of you. Or if it is not a research, then it has been experienced culturally that you remain and you see the cold grave of your husband because you have to live longer, a little bit longer than your husband. Mothers, you are the widows. That when your husband has died, you are told your Jesus will be your husband. While the gentleman, even in his 70s, a lady is found for him. Mothers, what a load. We are praying for you. But even when we are praying for you, remember the Tower of Babel. And if that which fell in the plains that was there in the antediluvian generation collapsed, in Babylon, that was a superpower in the days of Daniel, Shadrach and Abednego, fell. Then we pretty aware that this Babylon today, in the battle of Armageddon, we're going to have to hit him up and kill him and finish it up. And Jesus will march with the blood-stained banner. The Prince Emmanuel will be walking us 144,000 are marching to lead the 100 and other thousands and millions of other people that have been saved from among men. And the voice that will be there when we sing the chorus supernal will be so amazing. The battle will be won. Armageddon is interesting in the sense that we're going to win. Let's pray. Our Jesus, thank you so much. You love us so much, and this you did when we didn't know. And you expressed this at a very painful death at Calvary. Oh God, we thank you for Jesus. We thank you that He's going to give us the meaning of life. And even when we are going to face the battle of minds in the end of age, the spiritual warfare, thank you for having made the things revealed to us in time. That even when there is a Babylon, the confusion in the book of Apocalypse that has been revealed in the literary works of the prophet, we thank you that it will be that we emerge the winners. Thank you because you have spoken it. Blessed are they that have put on their garments that they shall not be seen naked to their shame. Thank you for that good news, Lord. You're coming and you're going to make us your children. I want to pray for our ladies, oh God. Behold how painful they have experienced a lot in their life. Behold the trouble in their domestic lives. Behold the responsibilities that they have. The load of caring for the children and ensuring that they have enough for them. The burden of caring for their husbands and the ability to show that they love them. The ability to go into the market and seek food for our daily upkeep. Oh Lord, have mercy on these ladies. They are the ones that remain widows. And they are the ones that are carrying children in their wombs 9 months. And they are the ones that are loaded. Purely they are the victim of circumstances. In domestic violences, they are the ones that are suffering. They go into pain, never sleeping in the night. And so this is a time that you're going to stretch your hands upon Victory Church, ladies. And thank you for having heard our prayers. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. God bless you.